A boundary survey is a process carried out to determine property lines and define true property corners of a parcel of land described in a deed. It also indicates the extent of any easements or encroachments and may show limitations imposed on the property by state or local regulations. The drafting of a boundary survey requires inputs like crew points, which are collected by the field crew at the time of surveying field sketch, or the sketch drawn by the crew, the subdivision plot, and the template, which are useful for our current drawing. After importing the crew points based on the description, we complete the line work. Simultaneously, we draw the plot from the subdivision plat by using the bearings and lengths which are provided on the subdivision plat. Here, we have plat number 382 as seen from the customer order sheet. Generally, we draw the plat by orienting the north arrow upwards on the paper. Note the construction of the plat boundaries with the required bearing and distance per plat. Plat construction is underway, continues, and is complete. Once we have completed the plat with the help of the monuments, we try to orient the points on the line work with the subdivision plat. Note we've aligned a common corner and rotate it into alignment. The bearings are now measured and drafted for both measured and plat. These are added at the later stage during the finalization process of the draft. The bearings are all updated for both measured and platted drafts. All the line work is then transferred into designated layers. For example, the crew collected points are transferred into the crew layer. The drawing is further rotated in order to make sure that the road is facing down or at the base of the drawing. All the property lines of our plat are transferred to designated layers. Now we draw the adjoining iron rod or iron pipe and transfer them into designated layers. We update the lot number as well as the adjoining lot numbers and iron rod, iron pipe information too. Next, we update the bearings. Note the addition of the bearings is now complete. Any lines required are designated and identified using the line tables. The center line can now be drawn using the right-of-way, which is provided on the subdivision plat. The center line creation is underway, relocated, and is now complete. We can now update the road name. The road name, in this case, Savannah Lane, is typically oriented at the center line and requires relocation. Savannah Lane is now centered, and the point of intersection can now be established. The point of intersection is being established on the drawing, and labels are completed per the requirements. All the road names are now updated. Add the rod information along with their donuts for identification of the boundaries of our lot. The addition of the donuts are added and are now completed. The building can now be drawn per the field sketch by using the surveyed crew points. The drawing commences and is now complete We can now apply the object snap settings for endpoint and perpendicular line. Next, the lengths are added for the building, and we can update the residential number. And the residence is now identified. We return to the field sketch. For the driveways, AC units, screen pools, etc., which are found and added at appropriate locations along with their labels per the field sketch. First, we create the driveway. The driveway is under construction and is now complete. We return to the sketch to pull other information, such as sidewalk and AC units, which are now added and completed. We now are able to hatch the concrete driveways, sidewalks, etc. And the hatching is underway and is now completed. Next, fences can be added along with their distances from the property lines. In this example, we have a plastic fence on one side and an iron fence on the other. The iron fence is complete and the plastic fence is now created. Drawing for the plastic fence is underway and is completed. All the fences are now drawn per the field sketch. It is sometimes mandatory to give diagonal ties from the building to property lines. Otherwise, we have to show a minimum of 3 ties from the building to the nearest property corner. We attach the ties from the property to center line and transfer them into designated layers. If a line is perpendicular from the property to center line, there is no need to provide a center line on that side. Adding dimensions from the property line to the road center line and the line table is updated. All the information per the field sketch is updated and a final check is carried out. We now check for easements in the easement notes and deed documents. In the example, we have a 10-foot wide utility easement along all lot lines adjacent to the street right-of-way, and a 5-foot wide utility easement along all side lot lines, and a 7.5-foot wide utility easement on all rear lot lines. First, the 5-foot side easement, and then the 7.5-foot rear easement are created, and labeling is assigned. All the easements are drawn and labeled accordingly. Next, the title block is filled in along with the block number, lot number, bearing base, and other information such as legal descriptions, property address, company name, certifications, panel number, etc. All the information is applied to their appropriate locations, and this completes the drafting. This represents the final product of the drafting job, which is now ready for delivery. Thank you for watching this video.